Welcome back to Tactics Talk with Guido. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I do appreciate your support. I've got a two-pack here for you. Two tanks being played, a T-34 and a low. You can see that Nonamandus is in his T-34 right here. He's on Fiery Salient, T-34, Tier 8, Premium American Heavy Tank. All Tier 8 game, no artillery on proc, which is fantastic. He sent this. It's titled Just the Two of Us, which reminds me of a song. Just the two... Nope, we're not going to sing. We're not going to do it. Turns out that I was actually in this battle as well. You can see, look at that great player right there, Guido1212. What a fantastic guy. Give him a wave. Anywho, that's me in the same game randomly. And you can see that Nonamandus is just done a dynamic platoon with a couple other guys. When he sent this and titled it Just the Two of Us, he said, hey, I just had this game. I'm curious. You had a good game in the middle, and I had a meh one up on the hill. I also recently got a suggestion that I do a video series with players where I platoon with them and then analyze both of the games, kind of giving two views of one battle. So let's do that on this one. Even though we're not actually platooned, we are clearly trying to work together. So we'll start off with Nonamandus, and he is headed up to the hill. You can see that I am headed towards the middle in my low premium tier 8 heavy tank. So this map is very interesting, and I do quite a few videos on this with the hope that that it sinks in, and if anyone new comes to the channel, they see it if they haven't seen any of the ones before it. It is a misunderstood map. A lot of people don't like it, and hopefully I'm not insulting anyone who's watching, but typically the people that don't like it aren't very good. And that's understandable because they don't really have a good idea how to play it. And that was a nice shot right there. He saw that 34 being very foolish up in the flat. Knew that he would probably get a shot, and off he goes. I like how you're cutting low there, but it's unlikely anybody's up on that hill yet, and there's no artillery. So just think about that kind of stuff. 34 has a hard time getting up there. Now, they've got a lot of guys stacked on the 5-6 line, and you can see that that's where I've gone. Without artillery, it makes that area very viable. Even with artillery, I still often go there. And why is that? Because this map requires a little symbiosis action from everybody. I don't know if you noticed this, man, but there's a Scorpion right there. And he is probably hittable by you. He's up on the edge. See how he's on the edge of the thing right there? You're looking for that 34 too, but now the Scorpion's gone. And that's just SA checking out everything that's going on around you. Definitely a good idea trying to get that 34-2, but it probably would have been really nice if you'd have noticed that Scorp, because you could have probably popped 300-400 damage into him. So anyway, back to the symbiosis part on this map. You really need to play at least two sides well, if not all three well, depending on what's going on the map. Because all three sides on this map can support each other. Clearly you can't support all the way over into the west from the east side where we are, but with the middle you can get to each side. The west can support the middle and the east can support the middle, so they can all fire across. And the hill becomes, I won't call this critical terrain like some maps. In this map there really isn't a critical part of the map unless you want to call it the middle, so that you can at least anchor the two sides and help them out. That's maybe the most critical part of the map, but there's not a critical terrain where the most important battle happens on this map. It really is a lot more fluid than a lot of maps. So now let's look at the situation we've got here, because when I talk about the symbiosis, specifically what I'm talking about on this side of the map is the hill supporting the middle and the middle supporting the hill. And that can actually happen from both red side and green side, which is a pretty good map design. The hill is easier to get up on top of by the red team, but it can be swept by fire from your 5-6 line. So it's a trade-off. And you get guys like the CDC and now Nona coming up here, and if they can light guys hanging out up here, your team down here can really get a lot of shots. There are a couple spots, one of them being right in front of the AMX CDC, where a flatter tank of the enemy can kind of hang out right there and be fairly safe from being shot by these guys down here. However, if he tries to pop up and over and get shots, he can then be shot in the side. Likewise, from the red side, if they get up to that spot I just talked about and start lighting Nona and this Taku-esque dude, then their guys in the middle can start shooting them in the side. one of the safer spots for Nona and the rest of them is this divot right here. You can see that this ground comes up quite a bit, and for a tank with good gun depression, that's a great spot. The 40T is in a good forward spot, but that's very dangerous. If he gets lit, he's got a long ways to go to get safe, and it usually equates to trying to dive down lower here and get away. This guy, if he gets lit, is definitely vulnerable to shots from down here on the red team's 5-6 line. So there's a lot of stuff going on to think about it. That goes back to the beginning of the match when I talked about why some people don't like it, because there's so many directions to be shot at from. If you don't understand all the interrelations, you can really catch yourself out. Slow T-34 turret. And there is a E5 sitting there, the baby E5. And Nona's moving back because he realizes that is going to happen. So thankfully he gets missed. He backs all the way down, all the way down. This is something I talk about quite a bit. Sometimes you didn't really need to go all the way down there, Nona. I mean, you're repositioning, so that's fine. Maybe that was the thought process. But the problem with that is that guy is still hanging out right there. And we're doing our level best. I'll show you what I'm doing there in the middle on the next game. I'm trying to get shots on this T-26E5 as well. But he's doing a pretty good job of hanging out in that divot and presenting a very small profile to shoot at. So Nona's having a bit of a hard time trying to get his gun in the game right here. And had you been a little further up that divot there, you definitely would have been able to get a shot on that, at least his turret, which may have been hard to get through, but there you have it. Just sort of rocking here and just really not doing much there, Nona. And it goes back to your question at the beginning where you said, you know, I had kind of a meh game, so could you take a look at it? And one of the problems you have is a little bit of a lack of aggression. You do understand that you can get hit in the side, so you are being careful with that, and that's a good thing. But we are also trying to keep those guys lit there in the middle for you, which is also important because that lets you guys get shots on them, which I don't think is something I mentioned earlier. One of the reasons this position is good is you have shots on them if they come up too high. Just like the enemy up on the top of the hill has shots on me if I come up too high, which I'll show you on the next video. What we're not addressing today is everything that's going on the west side. That would be an entirely different video on how you push down there and support the middle and how the middle supports you, so we won't touch on that. Alright, so more than likely there's just this one guy, although there was a Scorpion up there, but guess what? Where's the Scorpion now? Dude, he completely repositioned. He is all the way on the other side of the map, so he has bailed off the hill. That is a piece of intel that I use when I see it, and I try to notice it, because I'm thinking to myself, alright, we got this big stack on the 5-6 line. I've got 3 TDs over on the 1-2 line, and I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 5 dead tanks. So if I count noses, I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 of the 10 are accounted for. More than likely, one of those other TDs, or more than likely one of those other tanks is over on the 1-2 line. The most tanks that can be on this hill are 3, and I suspect it's anywhere from 1 to 2 in reality. So I've made an educated guess based on the intel that I have on what's going on up here. So I can probably get up here and get some shots. The only thing I really need to think about is getting popped by the guys down lower, and you actually had a shot right there. And you have a shot on the 100-01, and you probably have a shot on the I-6B. Take one and go. Now I like the idea that, hey, I'm going to keep moving so I don't get hit. But ooh, okay, there is one up there. Look at that. So, and you found him, so that's good. And again, just kind of right back down to passive. One of the things you're doing for your team, if you're more aggressive and you try to get up there a little bit, is you're lighting those guys up there and allowing us to tear them up. Especially if they're up high on the hill like that 100.01 is. See how that T-26E5 is getting shredded a little bit? We'll get to my game. I think I took a lot of shots at that guy and a lot of bounces, a lot of misses. But he's doing a pretty good job of staying in a hidden spot, and down he goes. So finally we get rid of that guy. And you're looking to the right. But, dude, why are you looking to the right? That's fine. There's no one to shoot. And the guy that just shot you is right up here. You're giving him completely side turret. It's not a great position to be in. Actually, it wasn't. The 101 hit you from down below. Sorry about that. There's something else up here. We'll get to that in a minute. It's not a great position to be in. It's hard to look both ways. But you know that guy's... Yep, boof. Okay, it's a Centurion, sorry. I said 100.1. He's down the middle. And you ate it in your turret right there just because... Exactly because... Oh! Okay, nice. Almost popped the CDC in the back of the turret. And once again, just really coming down low. I mean, you're protected, but this thing's got a great turret. Get a little bit further up there and see if you can't get aimed in on somebody. And then when you reload, take a shot. It gets down to that missed shot opportunity thing that I talk about quite a bit. Look at the CDC's just having a good old time firing away. That's a piece of intel. They're not firing back at him, so he's good. He can't be seen. Definitely could have had a shot right there. And I remember seeing this as it developed, thinking, how in the heck are we losing? There we go. I just noticed some calm I put in there. I'm going to have to block it. I got a little bit salty about the hill, actually, Nona, now that I remember this game. That's pretty funny. There you go. Maybe some gold now that you're facing the 100.01. So one of the reasons I got upset about what's going on the hill is we kept getting hit by the Centurion, the one Centurion. And we are at a point where we need to clean up a flank. We're starting to have a bit of trouble here in the middle and on the west side. If we can clean up the hill, get rid of the Centurion, then we can turn our attention to the rest of these tanks. Right now, we're spread a little thin. We're definitely having issues with this Centurion up here. There we go. There you go. Oh, you know he's there. Get ready, man. You're not even... Yeah. And pop a shot off. There's no reason to not take a snapshot at him. Maybe you hit him. And now we go all the way back down. All the way back down. There we go. Found one. Get the Lorraine moving up. Another thing that players don't really like much about proc is how long it takes, which is interesting to me because an entire match cannot be any longer than 15 minutes. So the fact that somebody can't even deal with 15 minutes kind of makes me laugh a little bit. Now the enemy team is starting to get an advantage, and we can see a Tiger II has switched all the way over to that side, or maybe he was hanging out in the back the whole time. Very possible. Whoa, 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 whoa. Palsy. That sucks. A little bit of a bounce right there, but you get him. Actually, maybe that was you that got him. Nope. That was him hitting you last time. So this Centurion is a big old pain, man. Got an 8.8 saying he's going to push over the middle. Not really a great idea with that many guns in the game. The problem is we're having a bit of an issue here because we're just sort of losing this battle of attrition of hit points. Because we're not able to push in any specific direction. Tiger II goes down the bottom. I like this move, Nona. Definitely go take care of this guy down here. You're probably safe from hits unless there's something camping up on the back like the Yudes, which is very possible. But you don't quite get there. He bails out, which is a good plan on his part. And we're backing up, backing up, backing up. Tiger II drowns, which ends up helping us quite a bit. And that Centurion is finally getting whittled down a little bit. He takes another hit there. And we're backing up, backing up, backing up. You know, I didn't say anything there because it just, when you look at a replay like this, it just becomes kind of painful. as you're analyzing how you're doing, you're probably thinking, well, geez, I'm really just sort of driving randomly around right now with no real purpose. There you go. So, well, see that again, again, you're trying to come up on this Centurion, but you're not really putting your gun where it's ready to shoot him. All right, the 100.1 is down. There is a Udes over there on somewhere around the train track, and that does make it dangerous for you to push along here. There we go. There's the Centurion. You did not get spotted. That's nice. Maybe move up into these bushes. Where are they? These bushes right here, potentially. If you could get to those, you might start seeing the Udes and potentially be protected from being spotted by the Centurion. That's sort of what you're doing now. There you go. But your rear end is kind of hanging out that bush right there. And everyone's just kind of carefully trying to work their way through it. Now we're starting to win that attrition battle. We got that charioteer out, but oops, there goes the Oho. Back to even again. The Centurion's getting aggressive, or not the Centurion, but the CDC's getting aggressive against the Centurion. I like that you're following him. That's a good idea. Down he goes. Nicely done. Where is the Udes? Looks like the CDC is pushing hard, so he's not there. He's not up on the top. Definitely not up there. There he is. Holy cow, he's completely repositioned all the way across the map. And that's what fast tanks can do. Moving up, CDC. And you've got 1,300. 1,300 assist. CDC goes up. I didn't even know you could get up there, but he does it right up on the top of that thing. Not a very useful spot. There's good reason why not many people go up there, but there you have it. There's a 40T left. We've got me, Nona. Nona randomly fires. Did the palsy get you there? And now we are clean up on aisle 2. So from your standpoint there, you were definitely in the right position with the tank, and to a large extent what you were doing was the right thing. What I'm going to say as a generalization is not as aggressive as you could have been. We really needed to get those guys off of that hill, and it's very possible that if you got too crazy aggressive, you'd have got killed trying to get up in there. But I think you could have been up there popping a little bit more and lighting up that Centurion especially a little bit more. We had hard shots on him, but in the case of where you were, it's just a constant series of attempting to get up there, get a light, and then get back to safety. It can be very difficult if there's lots of guys on the 5-6 line like there was, but that's how this map has to be won. It's one of those things I say a lot that, you know, if someone's got to do it, so it might as well be you. If you're always sitting back letting someone else do it, you'll often be left wondering, why did we lose? What could I have done to make that work better for me? The answer is typically you needed to make it happen. There we go. Get that dude. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh. Down he goes. Might as well stay on the cap and grab the experience for it. It's unlikely you're going to get shot unless you're going to make a liar of me right here. I'm sort of hanging back there too, being a wuss. I just didn't want to get killed. And down he goes. Alright, so we end up winning. Nice job on that one, man. 1,300 and 1,300, like I already mentioned. Just going back to it on this map, it's a symbiotic kind of relationship. Sides have to work with each other, and you have to be a little bit more aggressive. If you want to do a 1,300 damage game with 1,300 spotting, that was a great way to do it. If you wanted to get a little more damage, you had to get up there and get her done. So let's look at what I was doing, what I was seeing while Nona Mandis was on the hill there. Okay, here is my low tier 8 premium German heavy tank. Again, it's an all tier 8 battle, no artillery. My original title for this bout, for this replay, was going to be Why Arty is So Much Fun, but since we got the fusion of Nona being in here and me, we were able to talk about two different directions from the same map and how they support each other over on the east side. So I'm driving up to the 5-6 line, which is a critical point on the map. I believe it absolutely must be used in order to make the other sides work, especially the hillsides. Let's see how that works out. As you are approaching this hill, realize people will pop. Analyze the enemy teams. If there is artillery, they will pop and try to let artillery rain on your head. So you've got to watch out for that. That's just something you're going to have to accept if you're going to work the 5-6 line. There's no way really to approach it unless you're very fast and tuck up under early. If you're in a heavy like me, you're going to get lit. That being said, if they're going to pop over, punish them. Take a shot. Usually on the move. You'll see that I get a little RNG action right here. I'm looking for somebody to pop over this ridge. And as soon as they do, I'm going to zoom and shoot. Holy cow, RNG, thank you very much. I punished that guy, and that's why popping over that ridge is not a great idea at times. Stuff like that can happen. There's Nona's shot into the T-34 too as he crosses over. And I think people believe that, you know, if there's no artillery, I have a much easier time popping up over there, and they do to some extent, but in the case of a Lorraine, you're really just asking to get popped because the turret is 0 armor, and you're just going to get hurt doing that. So I shoot the 34B in the face. I got some gold going on here. I get a little aggressive coming up top. Bounce off him, and then I eat that shot from the Scorpion, and that is a deserved shot from a Scorpion because... and off he goes. Because I popped up there and gave him that shot. Oh, he was fast enough to get up on that hill, so you do have to watch fast tanks. About now, the slow tanks are going to start being up there. So this is about the timing where I start thinking about, okay, I need to be much more careful about my popping up right there, because if I come too high, whatever's up there now is going to have a heyday shooting me. So I shift a little left here into the more open, but I'm using these trains to at least provide a little bit of cover, or at least the wreckage of these trains. Popping right here doesn't work really well when there's artillery, because you get spotted much more easily. I typically work the right side a little bit more where that bush is in front of me, just to protect myself a little bit from being spotted by the guys, my counterpart enemy tanks on the 5-6 line right there. Being slightly right also gives you a little bit better shot on the hill because you don't have to come up as high as I am right here. The buildings there in the little town are problematic. You do have to work around those. You can shoot the buildings down, but that takes quite a bit of time. And if you shoot at the roofs, that doesn't really knock them down very well. So you got to get into the base of the building to do it, to knock it down. And that requires exposing yourself even more. There we go. Just take a little pop off his turret. Now there's this T-26E5. We see him, but you can tell that he's down in that... See how he's down in that gully I talked about? How protected he is. Yes, his turret's poking up a little bit, but it's just very difficult to get in there on him. I just can't find him. And there's that building right there I was talking about, the IS-6B. And this is that symbiotic thing. We come up and get spotted by them. They come up and get spotted by us. Our 44 is a special case right there. And we're just poking and prodding and trying to find that opportunity to get a shot in without taking one back. You can see I just can't find that guy. So he's doing a nice job. And again, back to the point of the hill needs to be lighting these guys up. Every time the hill lights these guys up, we have an opportunity potentially for a shot on. I would have loved to have got a shot on that Scorpion G. Just couldn't quite get there. Lit again. Missed him. IS-6B is looking for a shot to come in on me. I'm unfortunately not paying attention to him right here, which I should be. It's a blind shot in there. Spotting damage. So see how my spotting damage is cranking up? Because one of the things I'm trying to do here is keep these guys in the 5-6 line lit for my guys on the backside of the hill to have shots on them. And notice how more aggressive I am, Nona, as far as popping up and trying to look for those shots. Both these tanks, yours and mine, have pretty good turrets. I'm not being dumb about it necessarily, but I am trying to get up and over and get some lights. Once they're dark again, I want to go up and say, alright, where are these guys? There we go. There's one, there's one. Go ahead and shoot them from the hill, guys. Guys, guys. They're down low. They're down pretty low, but you're just looking for when they make a mistake. Oh, look at this. There's the Tu-26E5 again. Let's see if we can get a shot on him again. Nope, missed him. Oh, a Tiger II. There's a Tiger II back there. That's good SA. It's basically a de facto spotting device. Centurion has... Oh, there's a Centurion. Now, this is the guy that causes this trouble. See how well hold down he is right there? We got him once. He's tracked. Shoot, that's way high. More than likely didn't go in. Oho blasts a shot in there. The Oho's got a nice tall turret, so he doesn't have to come up too high. The bad news is he's got a nice tall turret, and they don't have to come up too high to spot him. Artillery changes the dynamic of this map quite a bit. More than likely we get rained on by artillery like crazy over here. Get a shot on him finally. But there's no artillery. So we're able to work this area just a little bit differently. We'll call it more aggressively. So I'm just continuing to look. There you go. So that guy makes a mistake and I punish him for it. And I get that shot because I'm looking for that shot. I'm not sitting back waiting for somebody else to create the shots for me. Oh. So the Udez, and I eat that. Now there you go, a little over aggressive. And nothing I was doing there was wrong as far as pushing up. What was wrong is I went way, way too high trying to get an aggressive shot. This is where I got salty because I was expecting the hill to get up there and start showing me where these guys are so we can start working on them. There we go, finally. Put a shot on his turret. I kind of made it my life goal at this point to kill this Centurion. Well, there we go, that guy's down. There's some more spotting for me. And we've got the issue in the middle now. This is where I started talking about it on the last one, that, yeah, we've got something of an issue starting to develop in the middle. And we need to break one of these flanks. Probably not going to be the middle. We're not going to push through the middle. Right now, it doesn't look like the west flank is going to work very well for us because we don't even have anyone there, and there's a couple TDs hanging out there. So I actually abandoned the hill right at this point. After I got a little salty, the hill wasn't doing anything. I decided, you know what, if those guys aren't going to do their job and help us out there, then I'm going to come over here. In any event, we have more of a threat on this side. The thing about working towards the middle, yes, you can do that from the middle, even in a slow tank like the low, which is one of the nice reasons why 5.6 is such a good spot, being able to support here and flex back over to where I am. What you want to watch out for is this draw distance line. If I come up here and get spotted, guys that are up on the edge of this can still shoot me in the side and have a very easy shot on me right there. There's usually not somebody there. They get spotted pretty easily, but there is that bush right here, a very good bush to get into. So if I'm too far over, maybe on the left side of the Oho, I can definitely be popped by guys from the hill. In addition to that, you can still shoot past draw distance. If you understand the terrain and you can see the terrain, have a good idea, you can put your gun line on a lit tank, even that isn't being drawn, and still have a pretty good chance of hitting him. See the Scorp coming here. Put a shot in him and then back right down. And we'll continue to work the middle. And once again there, Nona and everybody else, the question at the very beginning was, how come I went to a pretty good position and I had a meh game and you ended up with a good game? And all it boils down to is aggression and looking for shots, but doing it in a smart way, minimizing exposure as much as possible. If you're going to be aggressive, you cannot completely, what's the word I'm looking for, stop being exposed, right? When I say minimize, it doesn't mean be completely safe. When I say minimize, I mean you're taking calculated risks. Sometimes those risks are not going to work out for you, and that's fine. But if you are working towards minimizing them, taking smart risks, then the reward is that you're actually doing more damage, getting more assists, and being more important in the game. That's something I think that a lot of players in this game never really come to grips with or start to understand. The fact that you do have to take calculated risks in order to do really well in the game. Otherwise, you can be quite happily doing average and not really understand why you're just being average. The Tiger II has dove down into the water. He'll eventually drown himself, although we're going to lose our Lorraine like you saw in the last replay. And now I'm just trying to find, all right, where is their Lorraine? There we go. Okay, so their Lorraine has moved. And there's not much going on in the middle. I do have to watch getting way up there like I was. Once I get lit, I can be shot from multiple directions. From the 5-6 line, from the hill, and from the other side, where the Charioteer and the Scorpion and the other things are hanging out right there. Again, I kind of come over to the hill expecting that, all right, let's finish up that hill over here. And again, just kind of some very passive, just sitting on the back side of the hill. So I start to abandon them. There we go. There's that Centurion. Like I said, I had made it my job to kill him. I was just really looking for a shot so I could get rid of that dude. So we'll go back over. There goes our 34-3. You see the 8.8 just hanging out in the back. He's well down low, not able to really do anything. So I'll come up here and see if I can work a shot onto this guy. There we go. Ouch. It's a good move on the Lorraine's part. That guy gives me the side of his turret, and down he goes. Continuing to work it. We got very lucky that that Charioteer was not aggressive. I expected at any moment, for about the last 2 minutes or so, that he would show up on our side about D1 or so and start just absolutely wrecking us, which he never did. And that is the problem with losing over on the west side, is if they're able to get there a little high on that hill, the whole position that me, the 8.8, and the Oho are occupying are swept by fire. And there he is. He's finally moved up right there, which is something he should have done, and I completely missed it. Look how long I don't look over there. I had shots all day long. I mean, that's just a terrible SA. I had, look at that. Could have helped take, and I finally, do I actually, yeah. I think I realized it just as he dies, so that was terrible. That's something I get on people for all the time. Just completely missing shots. And by missing shots, I don't mean I took a shot and missed the shot. I mean just missing that I have an opportunity to take the shot. There's that Centurion. Then I see the Centurion go down. I'm like, all right, this seems a lot better. And I am at a one shot though. Everything that's still alive can essentially take me down. The Udez pushes in, being very foolish, and dies. Now that actually probably sealed the game for us. I don't really understand why he did that. Maybe he had to go to the bathroom, or maybe he just got tired of it, or thought his team was going to definitely lose. But if he'd have bushed up somewhere in the corner, man, with the camo that thing has, we were going to have a hard time pushing these guys with him alive. With him dead, it's still dangerous with the Scorpion, but we're in a lot better position without him there. So, unknown why he did it, but that really sealed the deal for us. And I'm just rocking back and forth here, trying to figure out what is going on. So let's go a little faster speed here, because this takes a while to develop. I'm just afraid that the Lorraine is still in the middle, and if I pop over the middle, the Scorpion's going to have a shot on me from back in the corner. But what we find out here is, as the 8.8 moves up, the Lorraine is not in the middle, clearly, or he'd have been spotted and hit. So we end up going back here. I'm not sure if I get a shot on him. Let's just find out. Nah, I don't think I get another shot. And that's my fault. I talk about that quite a bit. I'm not going to make you watch the rest of it. The fact that you just keep driving towards the enemy, even in a slow tank, because you never know, you might get a shot. Had I kept going, I might have been able to get close enough and get a shot. But I leave that shot on the table if I would have been able to get there. So I end up with 3,300, 1,961 on that. And really, the bottom line is, Nona, and everyone who's watching this, is the reason my game was better is I was more aggressive. If you want to boil it down to one thing, I took risks, calculated risks. Yes, I lost some hit points. Yes, I made mistakes in a couple instances where my calculated risks were dumb, which I noted. but I took them and I was aggressive and I was pushing and I was looking for shots. I was creating shots. I was understanding how the two hill and the middle 5-6 line work together and what they have to do to help each other out. Whereas on Nona's side, he had the general positioning and idea right, but it was just a slower thought process. Took him a little bit longer in a lot of cases to get where he needed to go, and he was much less aggressive. And that is pretty much it, guys. So there you have it. A view of a battle from two directions, or two different tanks, randomly meeting just the two of it. No. All right, y'all. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, make sure you subscribe. And as always, we will see you.